The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This book has been banned in prisons, but praised in boardrooms. Some say it's dangerous. Others say it's the ultimate survival guide. Whether you're climbing the career ladder, running a business, or just trying to understand people better, the 48 Laws of Power has something to teach you. Welcome to Prose Pursuit, the channel where we turn powerful books into practical lessons. I started this channel because I love stories that teach you how to think smarter, live better, and understand the world just a little more clearly. If you're into books that stick with you, subscribe, and let's grow together. In this video, I'll explain all 48 laws from Robert Greene's best-selling book, not just as summaries, but as a series of engaging stories. We'll explore real-life examples, draw out the wisdom in each law, and uncover the deeper meaning behind them all in simple language you can understand, whether you're driving, working, or just winding down. Let's begin. Law number 1. Never outshine the master. Imagine being so impressive that your boss ends up resenting you. That's exactly what happened to Nicolas Fouquet, the finance minister under King Louis XIV of France. Fouquet threw a grand party at his luxurious estate, complete with fireworks, a feast, and entertainment, all meant to flatter the king. But instead of being pleased, Louis XIV saw Fouquet as a rival. Within days, Fouquet was arrested and imprisoned for life. The lesson? Making your superiors feel insecure can be fatal. Instead of trying to shine, let them feel like the brightest star in the room. Praise their wisdom, support their ideas, and let your own success unfold quietly. Power flows upward only when it doesn't threaten the throne. Law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. When Emperor Michael III of Byzantium promoted his close friend Basil to a position of power, he believed loyalty was guaranteed. But Basil had his own ambitions. Not long after, he had Michael murdered and took the throne for himself. Friends can feel entitled. They may take your kindness for granted or let jealousy simmer beneath the surface. Enemies, however, often work harder to prove themselves. They have more to lose and more to prove. So while it's comforting to surround yourself with friends, never let your guard down. Judge people by what they do, not how they make you feel. And remember, sometimes an old rival makes a more trustworthy ally than a lifelong friend. Law number 3. Conceal your intentions. Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor of Germany, was a master of misdirection. To the public, he seemed disinterested in politics. But behind the scenes, he was maneuvering kings, starting wars, and unifying an entire nation. If people know your goals, they can block you. They'll judge, interfere, or even steal your ideas. But when you stay quiet and let your actions speak, you move without resistance. So keep your plans close to the chest. Be friendly, be present, but stay mysterious. The more they guess, the more control you hold. Law number 4. Always say less than necessary. Napoleon Bonaparte had a habit. He'd listen more than he spoke. When in meetings, he'd stay silent longer than expected. It made others nervous. They spoke too much. They revealed things they shouldn't. Silence is powerful. It invites curiosity, fear, and respect. The more you say, the more you risk giving away your thoughts. The less you say, the more others listen. Let your silence be a tool. A pause, a glance, a few well-chosen words. These leave a stronger mark than a speech ever could. Law number 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. In ancient China, there was a warlord named Sun Pin. When he was falsely accused and humiliated, his enemies thought he was finished. But Sun Pin didn't fight back immediately. Instead, he disappeared and rebuilt his reputation piece by piece. Years later, he returned, outwitted his rivals in battle, and became a legend. Reputation is fragile. It takes years to build, seconds to destroy, and a lifetime to rebuild. Once it's damaged, everything else, your influence, your credibility, your power starts to crumble. Guard your name as if it were gold. Be mindful of how people speak about you when you're not in the room. One careless word, one scandal, one misstep, can undo all the respect you've earned. Law number 6. Court attention at all costs in the crowded streets of Renaissance Florence. A man named Cesare Borgia knew that fading into the background meant fading from power. He made grand entrances, wore striking armor, and turned every move into a performance. People couldn't look away. We live in a noisy world. If you don't stand out, you're ignored. If you're ignored, you're powerless. Attention is the currency of influence. So how do you get it? Be bold. Be different. Don't be outrageous just to shock, but never let yourself become invisible. Visibility is survival in the world of power. Law number 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Thomas Edison is remembered as the genius behind the light bulb. But behind him were countless assistants, people like Nikola Tesla doing the heavy lifting. Edison had the foresight to harness their skills and put his name on the work. This law isn't about stealing. It's about leverage. You can't master every skill, but you can master the art of delegation. Use the talents of others to extend your reach. Just be sure the spotlight shines on your stage, not theirs. Law number 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. When the ancient Chinese general Sun Tzu wanted to defeat a powerful enemy, he didn't charge him blindly. He set a clever trap drawing the enemy into terrain of his choosing. Once they arrived, he controlled the battle. Chasing others puts you in a weak position. You seem needy. You lose control. But when people come to you, you hold the cards, set the terms, create intrigue, make them want something from you, and they'll walk right into your plan. Law number 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Have you ever tried to win an argument only to end up losing a friend or damaging your credibility? Michelangelo didn't argue about the greatness of his work. He carved it in stone. Literally, words often create resistance. People don't like being told they're wrong, but actions? They speak for themselves. Don't waste energy trying to convince. Show. Prove. Let results silence the critics. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. There's a saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. In ancient times, kings kept jesters not just to entertain, but to lift their spirits. Misery, on the other hand, is contagious. Take the story of Lola Montez, a woman whose chaotic emotions and dramatic love affairs destroyed everyone who got close. One by one, her lovers lost their reputations, fortunes, and in some cases, their lives. They believed they could help her or that she'd change, but her storm always became their storm. The truth is, we absorb energy, good or bad. Surrounding yourself with negativity, drama, or constant crisis will drag you down. You don't need to hate or judge these people. Just protect your space. Choose your company as carefully as you choose your food. Because who you let close to your life determines whether you rise or fall. Law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you in the courts of ancient Persia. Advisors often made sure the king couldn't rule without them. They controlled his information, interpreted omens, and performed sacred rituals only they knew. This wasn't just service, it was strategy. Dependence is power. When people need you, they tolerate more. They fear losing you. They protect you, even when you're flawed. Whether at work, in business, or in relationships, build value that others can't easily replace. Be the one who solves problems, holds the key, or connects the dots. Independence is freedom. But making others dependent on you? That's influence. Law number 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. A single act of kindness can win more trust than years of words. The con artist Count Victor Lustig once sold the Eiffel Tower not once, but twice by opening negotiations with what seemed like complete transparency. He gave his targets just enough truth to lower their guard, then made his move. The lesson here isn't to scam people. It's to understand human nature. We want to believe people are good. A small, honest gesture of favor, a gift, a sacrifice creates a feeling of safety. And once someone feels safe, they stop being cautious. Be kind but deliberate. Give but strategically. Sometimes a small act opens the biggest doors. Law number 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. During the American Revolution, Benjamin Franklin needed support from a powerful rival. Instead of flattering or begging, he asked to borrow a rare book from the man's private library. Flattered by the request, the man obliged. A week later, Franklin returned the book with a warm thank you note. That rival became a lifelong ally. Why did it work? Because people are moved by their own pride, their curiosity, their ego, not just your needs. Franklin let the man feel important, useful, and respected. So next time you need a favor, don't explain how desperate you are. Explain how they'll benefit. Make them the hero. That's what truly persuades. Law number 14. Pose as a friend. Work as a spy. Cardinal Richelieu, the chief minister of France, once said, "Give me 6 lines written by the most honest man, and I will find something in them to hang him." He knew that knowledge, true, raw knowledge, was the path to power. Throughout history, smart leaders have asked innocent questions, paid attention to passing comments, and observed the habits of others. They didn't snoop, they listened, carefully. The more you know about people's motives, weaknesses, and plans, the more influence you have. This doesn't mean betrayal, it means awareness. Ask more than you speak. Let people talk. Observe when they think no one's watching. That's how the best spies win, not with gadgets, but with attention. Law number 15. Crush your enemy. Totally. Julius Caesar once showed mercy to Brutus, who had opposed him in an earlier conflict, but Caesar's kindness would come back to haunt him. Brutus didn't forget the power he once tasted. Years later, he led the very conspiracy that ended Caesar's life. A defeated enemy, if left with options, may bide their time and return stronger. They might smile in front of you, but their pride remembers the loss. When you have to deal with an opponent, don't just weaken them, remove the threat entirely. Leave no doubt, no room for retaliation. Mercy may seem noble, but in the realm of power, it can also be dangerous. Law number 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Have you ever missed someone more after they were gone? That's the power of absence. Queen Elizabeth I used this to great effect. She'd appear before her court in stunning attire, say little, then retreat. Her mystique only grew. People crave what's scarce. Constant presence breeds familiarity, and familiarity dulls admiration. If you're always available, you lose value. But when you step back at the right moment, people are left wanting more. Withdraw strategically. Create moments of silence. Let your absence speak just as loudly as your presence. Law number 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Mao Zedong, the Chinese revolutionary leader, often made erratic decisions on purpose. His enemies couldn't predict him. His allies remained on edge. That unpredictability kept him in control. Routine makes you easy to read. Predictability gives others the upper hand. But when people aren't sure what you'll do next, they hesitate. They play cautiously. By keeping others guessing, you maintain the upper hand. Be like a storm, calm one day, wild the next. Let uncertainty be your armor. Law number 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. The Chinese Emperor Qin Shi Huang built a massive wall to keep out invaders. But inside that fortress, he grew paranoid and disconnected. He trusted no one, and in the end, it was betrayal from within that destroyed him. It's tempting to isolate yourself when you feel threatened. But cutting yourself off from the world cuts you off from information, all eyes, and perspective. Power comes from connection. Talk to people. Watch the crowd. Stay in touch with your surroundings. A fortress may keep danger out, but it also locks you in. Law number 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. In the 1920s, a small-time gangster made a joke at the expense of Al Capone. Capone didn't laugh. A week later, the man disappeared. Some people are forgiving. Others hold grudges like weapons, and a few, they destroy anyone who crosses them, even over a perceived slight. The lesson? Don't treat everyone the same. Learn who you're dealing with. Study their temperament, their pride, their tolerance. A careless word can start a war. Respect power, even when it's quiet, because the quiet ones often strike the hardest. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone in the Italian Renaissance. The powerful Duke of Urbino played both France and Spain against each other. He made promises to both, gave nothing to either, and gained their gifts and protection while staying neutral. The moment you commit, you give up your freedom. You inherit the enemies of your allies and tie your fate to theirs. But if you stay aloof, others will court you hoping to win your favor. Master the art of selective loyalty. Move like a free agent. Let others fight for your attention while you keep your independence. Law number 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark con artist Victor Lustig once sold a money printing machine to a wealthy mark. It looked convincing but only produced a few real bills before running out. By the time the buyer realized it was a scam, Lustig was long gone. He did it by pretending to be clueless. He made the other man feel smarter, like he discovered a secret. People don't like feeling outsmarted. If you come off as too clever, they become suspicious. But when you seem naive or harmless, they lower their guard. Use this to your advantage. Hide your sharpest edges. Let others think they're in control until it's too late to stop you. Law number 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When the Vietnamese King Le Loi faced superior Chinese forces, he didn't resist immediately. He surrendered, studied their strategies, built alliances, and struck when the Chinese were overconfident. He used surrender not as defeat but as delay. Sometimes, resistance leads to destruction. Surrender can buy you time, earn sympathy, or catch your opponent off guard. Yield when you must, but not forever. Wait for your moment, then return stronger than before. Law number 23. Concentrate your forces in business. John D. Rockefeller dominated the oil industry by focusing all his resources on one thing: refining oil. While others diversified too early, Rockefeller doubled down. That focus made him unstoppable. Energy, time, money, they all spread thin when you try to do too much. Power comes from focus. Put your resources where they'll have the most impact. Don't chase every opportunity. Chase the right one and pursue it with everything you've got. Law number 24. Play the perfect courtier. At the court of Louis XIV, courtiers didn't rise through brute strength, they rose through charm, subtlety, and social skill. One misstep could mean exile, but those who understood the delicate art of court politics thrived. The perfect courtier flatters without fawning, adapts without losing dignity, and knows when to speak and when to be silent. In today's world, every workplace has its own court. Learn its rules, read the room, influence from within. Charm is power, too soft, subtle, and often more effective than force. Law number 25. Recreate yourself. When David Bowie reinvented himself from Ziggy Stardust to the Thin White Duke, he didn't just change his clothes, he changed his story. He understood that power comes not just from who you are, but who people think you are. You weren't born with a fixed identity. You can shape it. Rebuild it. Rewrite the script. To gain power, create a character that fits your goals. Be the person your situation needs. Don't let the past define you. Define yourself anew, as often as needed. In a world where perception is reality, control the image, and you control the narrative. Law number 26. Keep your hands clean. History remembers kings, not their henchmen. When something goes wrong, someone must take the blame. Powerful people know this, and they make sure it's not them. Take Cardinal Richelieu, the French statesman. He made difficult decisions, but let others deliver the bad news. When policies failed, it was his messengers who were punished, not him. The lesson? Delegate the dirty work. Let others handle what might tarnish your name. When things go right, step into the spotlight. When they don't, be conveniently distant. Appear flawless, even if your hands have been busy behind the scenes. Law number 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. In the 1970s, cult leader Jim Jones attracted hundreds of followers, not with logic, but with certainty. He offered answers in a confusing world. His charisma gave people something to believe in even when it led to tragedy. People crave meaning. They want to feel special. When someone offers hope, ritual, or identity, they often follow blindly. Use this need wisely. Create rituals, symbols, and a clear purpose. Offer a vision bigger than yourself. But never forget, with this power comes great responsibility. Lead with intention, not manipulation. Inspire but don't exploit. Law number 28. Enter action with boldness. When Alexander the Great faced a vast Persian army, he didn't hesitate. He charged head-on with a smaller force and won. His boldness shocked the world. Hesitation breeds doubt. Inaction invites resistance. But boldness? It creates momentum. It makes people believe you know what you're doing, even if you don't. When you move, move decisively. When you speak, speak with confidence. Boldness convinces others to follow, and it often scares away the competition. Fortune favors the bold, not the timid. Law number 29. Plan all the way to the end. Napoleon Bonaparte's early victories were stunning, but he failed to plan for the long game, especially in Russia. His troops weren't prepared for winter, and the campaign collapsed. A strong beginning means nothing without a solid end. Always look ahead. Imagine every possible outcome, good or bad. Prepare for detours, resistance, and worst-case scenarios. Power comes to those who can think 5 steps ahead. So plan like a general, not a gambler. Law number 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. Fred Astaire danced across the screen like gravity didn't exist. But behind that lightness were years of grueling practice. He never showed the sweat. Appearing effortless is a kind of magic. It makes your skills seem natural, your genius divine. People admire those who make the difficult look easy. When you reveal the hard work, you invite critique. But when you conceal it, you seem untouchable. So hide the wires. Smile through the grind. Let your brilliance speak without explanation. Law number 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. When Henry Kissinger negotiated with foreign leaders, he never gave just one option. He offered 2 or 3 each, carefully designed to lead to the outcome he wanted. They felt in control. But they were playing his game. Power lies in framing the choices. If you set the options, you set the path. Don't corner people. Guide them. Give them a sense of agency, but make sure every door leads to your desired result. Control isn't always about force. Sometimes, it's just about clever choices. Law number 32. Play to people's fantasies. During the Great Depression, escapist movies like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind weren't just popular. They were lifelines. People needed more than facts. They needed hope. Reality is often harsh. People escape into dreams of love, of wealth, of heroism. If you speak only in truth, you risk sounding cold. But if you weave a dream, people will follow. Leaders, brands, and influencers know this. They sell not just products but stories. Understand the fantasy your audience craves and become the storyteller who fulfills it. Law number 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. During World War II, British intelligence discovered that a German officer had a weakness for fine cigars. They used it to bribe him and got valuable information. Everyone has a pressure point, a secret desire, a hidden fear. When you find it, you hold the key. Listen closely. Watch reactions. Learn what people love, what they dread, what they'll fight to protect. Power isn't about overpowering. It's about understanding. Find the lever, and you move the person. Law number 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. When Christopher Columbus pitched his voice to the Spanish crown, he didn't beg, he demanded noble titles and royal treatment. His confidence, even as a no-name sailor, made people believe he was destined for greatness. How you carry yourself shapes how others treat you. If you act like you deserve respect, people often give it. Walk with dignity. Speak with purpose. Demand more not with arrogance, but with presence. You teach others how to treat you, starting with how you treat yourself. Law number 35. Master the art of timing. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. But when he was released, he didn't immediately seek revenge or power. He waited. He chose his moment and used it to unite a divided South Africa. His patience gave his leadership depth and weight. Power often belongs to those who wait not because they're idle, but because they know when to strike. Timing is everything. When you move too early, the world isn't ready. When you move too late, the chance is gone. Observe, wait, then act precisely when the moment is right. Law number 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Michelangelo was once denied a commission by a rival artist. Instead of fighting back, he acted as if the snub meant nothing. Years later, his rival faded into obscurity while Michelangelo rose to legend. When you show anger or obsession over what you can't have, you give it power over you. But when you ignore it, you take that power back. Don't chase every insult. Don't cry over missed opportunities. What you cannot have, you rise above. Indifference is sometimes the strongest response. Law number 37. Create compelling spectacles. In ancient Rome, emperors threw lavish games at the Colosseum. The crowds were fed, entertained, and distracted. The spectacle wasn't just fun, it was control. People are drawn to the dramatic, the visual, the unforgettable. If you want attention, don't whisper, perform. Whether it's a product launch, a speech, or an Instagram post, make it memorable. Use symbols, images, emotion. Give people something they can't ignore. Because in today's world, the loudest story often wins. Law number 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Galileo believed the earth moved around the sun. He was right, but the church didn't like it. When he spoke too boldly, he was silenced. In public, too much honesty can be dangerous. It's fine to think differently, but don't always show it. Fit in when you must. Blend in until it's safe to stand out. Share your true thoughts only with those who've earned your trust. Sometimes the wisest move is to keep your brilliance undercover. Law number 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. During World War II, Winston Churchill used misinformation and deception to confuse Nazi forces. He didn't just fight with weapons, he fought with chaos. When people are angry, emotional, or confused, they make mistakes. When they lose control, they give up power. Sometimes the best strategy is to provoke, distract, and disorient. Keep your opponents off balance while you remain calm. Control the storm and you'll control the sea. Law number 40. Despise the free lunch. John D. Rockefeller never trusted anything that came free. If someone offered something for nothing, he questioned the motive. He believed true value came with a price. What's free is often worth less than it seems. Hidden strings, obligations, or traps may follow. Pay your way. Earn what you get. When you invest, you value it more, and others respect you for it. There's power in saying, no thanks, I'll pay. Law number 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. After Alexander the Great died, his generals scrambled to fill the void. None could match his charisma or legacy. Each successor lived in his shadow and most failed. When you follow a legend, comparisons are inevitable. But trying to replicate them often makes you seem like a copy. Instead, forge your own path. Create a new standard. Don't follow footsteps, make your own trail. Power lies not in imitation, but in reinvention. Law number 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. In gang warfare or corporate politics, the leader holds the group together. Remove the leader, and the group loses direction. The FBI knew this when targeting organized crime. They didn't chase every member. They focused on the heads. Take down one boss and the rest crumble. If conflict arises, look for the source. Neutralize it quickly and decisively. Don't waste energy fighting the crowd. Go for the shepherd. Law number 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. When Abraham Lincoln wanted to pass tough legislation, he didn't just argue, he told stories. He made emotional appeals. He listened. People aren't moved by facts alone. They respond to feeling, to trust, to connection. To win someone over, speak to their heart. Make them feel seen, respected, understood. Power isn't always force, it's persuasion. Law number 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. In ancient China, a cunning advisor mirrored the behavior of his enemy during negotiations, copying tone, posture, even facial expressions. It unsettled his opponent, exposing his weakness. Mirroring forces people to see themselves. It can flatter or it can disturb. Use this tool carefully. Reflect their actions, their energy. If they're aggressive, mirror calm. If they posture, posture back. People are often undone by their own reflection. Law number 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. When Gorbachev tried to reform the Soviet Union too quickly, the system cracked. His push for rapid change without steady foundations led to chaos and collapse. People fear sudden shifts, even when they ask for change. They find comfort in the familiar. If you want lasting transformation, move gradually. Introduce ideas slowly. Let people adjust. Revolution may sound exciting, but evolution is more sustainable. Law number 46. Never appear too perfect. Julius Caesar once returned from a military campaign with unmatched glory, and envy followed. The Senate feared him. His perfection made others feel small, and so they turned on him. Perfection provokes jealousy. It alienates. Let them see a flaw, a small mistake, a human trait, something to relate to. It keeps you approachable and protects you from envy's blade. Law number 47. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. When Napoleon kept expanding his empire, he went too far, especially in Russia. He didn't know when to stop. His overreach became his downfall. Success feels good. It can make you greedy. But power isn't about always taking more. It's about knowing when to stop, win, pause, reflect. Don't turn triumph into tragedy. The moment of victory is also the moment of greatest danger. Law number 48. Assume formlessness. Bruce Lee once said, "Be like water. Water adapts. It flows around obstacles. It has no fixed shape, but it's powerful. Rigid systems break. Predictable patterns can be exploited. But if you stay flexible, no one can pin you down. Power lies in adaptability, in change, in staying light on your feet. Don't be a statue. Be a stream." And there you have it, the 48 laws of power, told through history, psychology, and practical wisdom. Some of these laws may feel manipulative. Some might inspire you. Others may make you uncomfortable. That's okay. Power is a tool. It can be used to hurt, or to build, to dominate, or to lead wisely. The real lesson? Stay aware. Know the game, even if you choose not to play it. Because those who ignore power are often controlled by it. If you found this valuable, subscribe to Prose Pursuit. Share this with someone who needs it. And let me know in the comments which law spoke to you the most. Until next time, keep reading, keep thinking, and stay powerful.